The Wai Connection project is largely funded by the Ministry for the Environment, and the intention is to build capacity and capability amongst catchment groups throughout New Zealand. The Wai Connection project has enabled the Mountains to Sea Conservation Trust to scale up the partnerships and relationships that we've developed with a range of organisations across the country over 20 years. This has enabled us to really help to build capacity and capability in over 400 catchment groups that we've been working with across the country, helping to provide support and training within their own communities.
Our project is the Jed River Catchment Project, about an hour and a half north of Christchurch and right near the heart of Cheviot.
Our main focus is water quality. We want our children, our grandchildren to be able to play, swim, fish anywhere in the river along the whole catchment. EOS Ecology and Wai Connection have really taken us to a new level. They've helped us get funding that we'd previously not been able to get with water testing. Their expertise helped to get us across the line.
The key things the EOS Ecology team has been able to support this catchment group with have been our Focus Catchment Map Series resource, which has involved a Focus Catchment Map Series workshop in bringing community groups together. The other key thing has been our community engagement and our school-based program.
So this is the soils one again. This is an interesting one here.
We know that effective catchment management comes from having a good understanding about what's going on in a catchment. And the Focus Catchment Map series, that really empowers our catchment groups with that knowledge.
Without the Wai Connection project, we wouldn't have been able to achieve what we have in the last few years. We simply don't have the resources to do the mapping. We don't have the technical expertise to put it together, and we don't have that expertise with education to involve the next generation through the school.
They've not only just sort of giving us the information, but with their presentations helping us to understand it and interpret it and give us knowledge that we can use to help make better decisions in the future. The EOS Ecology Wai Connection team is just amazing. Like, I don't know who does their human resources, but they
As a result of Wai Connection, our providers across the country have been able to offer support to catchment and community groups in the shape of facilitation and technical support, wider community engagement events and restoration and action planning. At the start of the Wai Connection project, we undertook a regional needs assessment process throughout the country, and as a result we were able to offer tailored support to catchment and community groups from Cape Reinga to the Bluff and most places in between.
We're part of the Araparera catchment. Araparera means the path of the grey duck. So it's great to be part of a group of people who care about waterways.
We have the Araparera catchment on one side and we have the Matai Creek catchment all going down to the Kaipara.
In the past, when it was farmers, you all had a shared interest in farming, but these days with a very disconnected community, with people going off into the city to work and all those sorts of things, there's not that many community connections anymore. So having something like this catchment group is hugely important on a social level as well as on an environment level.
Some of the things that we've been supporting the group with is funding applications, community engagement, like spotlighting events and community dinners, and also technical knowledge, so eDNA surveys and also inanga spawning programs.
I was so excited when Hannah and the other people who set up the catchment group asked us to be part of it, because it feels good to be part of something that's making a difference.
Everything that they've got to say is actually really, really good for us, because we need that science to know where to go and how to do it. It's not telling us what we should be doing, it's saying you could, and look what you have in your streams. It's amazing what's there, and we can enhance it and make it a lot better. We're fencing all our waterways. We'll be planting as many as we can afford to plant to try and keep the temperature of the stream the right temperature for inanga.
Wai Connection held a spotlighting evening here.
It was such an interesting thing to get there and see eels at night, and the kids loved it. You know, they just thought it was just fun. So I think they're the ones that make change for adults. You know, the parents are so busy earning a living, paying mortgages and so forth. They don't have the time to spend on these sorts of things, but the kids really get into it. And then they keep talking to their parents and say, "Dad, why aren't we doing this?" You know, that's a really good pressure.
I'm going to be inviting Wai Connection to come to the Walk with Golf Club because those people all own properties. There's a big waterway running through the golf club, and I'd love the people to know what's in that stream and how we can encourage what's in that stream to be better.
The key to success of the Wai Connection project has been offering tailored support to the catchment and community groups that we've been supporting. Asking first of all what they know about their waterway and what they'd like to know, helping them to figure out the answers to those questions, and then planning what's next.
The reading we're looking for is the one that says cell PPT, because that's salinity in parts per thousand. At the moment, we are trying to identify the saltwater wedge, which is the area where the saltwater from the ocean pushes up and mixes with the freshwater from the stream, and that's where inanga like to spawn. So we're trying to find that spot. But opacity doesn't always be the best way to tell, because these can also turn opaque.
We've learnt to do all sorts of tests. We did an E. coli test. We did that yesterday, and we're going to look at the results very shortly. We're going to do clarity tests. We're going to do the phosphate, the nitrate tests, and then we're going to have an eDNA test done, and then we'll look at the results of that.
I love this comparison between the two methods.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
What we are trying to achieve?
I really want to understand what's happening with our creek. Now I've got to try and practice that on my own property. So, you know, some of those tests are quite tricky until you get the hang of it. So it'll be really interesting to replicate those in a different setting.
Put the probe there and it was one.
We caught and we saw a bunch of inanga coming up right to the edge of the stream. They're identifying and investigating the little spots where they can lay their eggs. They're very gravid, so they're very pregnant and full and ready to have their eggs really soon. This is the area behind us we can see where the inanga will favour laying their eggs, and it means we can focus our restoration efforts here.
Communities hold the solutions to the freshwater challenges that we face today, and we're confident that through the Wai Connection project, by offering tailored support, we can just help them to get there faster. And we're really pleased to be able to extend that support over the next year and maintain that momentum that we've created with those groups. Everybody wants this to result in action on the ground, and that's exactly where we're headed.